Hi everyone. Today I'll be exploring how sound art can document and convey cultural and environmental identities through two important works, Stephen Feld's Voice of the Rainforest and Ernst Carrell's Space of Consciousness. These artists use sound to immerse us in places and cultures, creating vivid auditory experiences of distinct environments. So let's dive into their unique approaches. So to start off with some background, Stephen Feld is a prominent ethnomusicologist and anthropologist who introduced the idea of acoustomology, combining sound with the concept of knowledge. Feld believes listening can reveal as much about culture and environment as visual studies. His 1991 work, Voices of the Rainforest, recorded in the Bosavi rainforest of Papua New Guinea, takes us into the daily life and spiritual world of the Bosavi people. Collaborating with the Grateful Dead, Feld composed music from field recordings, transforming raw soundscapes into what he calls musical ethnography. This work has inspired countless artists to approach sound as a way of knowing and experiencing the world. Ernst Carrell is a sound artist and composer working with the Harvard Sensory Ethnography Lab. His work focuses on unedited field recordings, capturing natural sounds to convey a sense of place. In Space of Consciousness, Carrell brings us into the ambient environment of a temple in Tamil Nadu, capturing the sound of daily life in this spiritual space. Carell's style is purely observational, allowing us to quote unquote enter these spaces and interpret the sound in our own way. He creates immersive soundscapes that blur the line between documentary and abstract art, challenging listeners to rethink how sound can connect us to culture and place. In Voices of the Rainforest, Feld transforms the rainforest into a living, breathing soundscape that reflects both the daily life and deep cultural connections of the Bosavi people to their environment. By recording not just human activity but also rain, animals, and other natural sounds, Feld creates a layered narrative that sounds like music. This approach, which he calls musical ethnography, is groundbreaking for how it presents ambient music, sound and music as a cultural experience. It lets us experience the Bosavi culture in a way that's as vivid as watching a film or almost being there ourselves. Ernst Carrell's Space of Consciousness captures the ambient of Tamil Nadu temple complex, where the sounds of the temple represent its sacred energy. Carrell uses raw field recordings to let the listeners experience the environment as if they were actually there themselves. Instead of adding musical elements, Carell's unprocessed soundscape emphasizes the atmosphere, with sounds of temple bells, worshippers, and nature all blending together into one thing. His work makes us consider how listening alone can create a powerful, immersive experience and bring us closer to the emotional and spiritual significance of the temple. When comparing these two works, Voices of the Rainforest and Space of Consciousness reveals very different yet complementary approaches to sound. Feld's composition is almost musical, blending ambient sound with rhythmic structure, while Carell's is purely observational, representing sound in its raw form. Yet both works achieve the same goal. They challenge us to see sound as a way of experiencing identity, place, and culture. Whether through musical composition or just pure ambience, they immerse us in the environments that speak volumes without visuals. Now, Feld and Carell's works also connect with a broader movement in the sound art, where artists are using sound to convey cultural identity and place. For instance, Pamela Z's performance art fuses voice and electronics to create deeply personal and cultural expressions. Janet Cardiff, known for her audio walks, takes listeners through the soundscapes that transform ordinary places into layered, almost multi-dimensional experiences. These artists, along with institutions like the University of Arts London, are exploring sensory ethnography and immersive audio as powerful tools for storytelling. This trend reflects an increased interest in using sound as a primary medium to document and interpret human experience without relying on visuals. You can also connect this to things like music in general, like bands or specific songs, when you think about the story that a song may tell, or the story told with music behind it. Anyway, to wrap things up, I wanted to ask, how might the experience of these works differ if visual components were added? Do you think sound alone can offer a full picture of a place or a culture? And honestly, Like, when you think about it, does the sound itself make the cultural experience more impactful, or would it be more impactful with just visuals? Anyway, these questions will challenge us to think about the potential of sound as a primary medium, and I really am excited to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you.